Curtis, welcome. Do you think that investors and companies pay enough attention to Southeast Asia?
In a nutshell, I have to say, unfortunately not. When people think of Southeast Asia, they have to realize also that it's a diversity of nations. Some 10 countries are part of this grouping, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which range from countries like Singapore, which really is a world-class investment destination that really leads the world in so many areas, from competitiveness to just a great place to do business, to bigger countries, the Indonesias, the Thailands, and Malaysias of the world. Sadly, too often for investors based outside of Asia, it's all about China, Japan, maybe India. So absolutely not, but there's so much opportunity for investors in Southeast Asia.
What opportunities are there? Why do you think that it hasn't been given the prominence that perhaps you believe it should have done?
Well, two questions there. The first is, why is Southeast Asia such an amazing destination? All about the numbers. When you're at the Milken Institute event, it's all about the numbers. If you just even add up the population, 600, 700, these numbers, millions of people, the numbers are only growing. $3 trillion or so in terms of, if you add up all the economies of the region. So the numbers are there. And what's also important when you look at these numbers, it's about a rising and emerging middle class. So it's about consumers upgrading. So that's one reason. And I think sometimes in terms of why people don't pay enough attention, because the reality is indeed that Southeast Asia is 10 nations. It's not a one China or a one Japan, but like Europe, if you add up the countries in this region, it is a tremendous opportunity. By some measures, maybe the fifth largest economy, going to fourth in the world.
One of the areas that you've spoken about recently is indigenous insights. Could you just tell me a bit more about that?
Sure. When you think about Southeast Asia, you should also recognize it's not just the diversity of nations, but also a diversity of peoples, indigenous communities within a nation. So indeed, I've been working in the social enterprise space. I think if you think about people who lived off the land really for generations, we miss the insights they have when we talk about climate finance, when we talk about looking holistically at a country's environment. In many ways, it's the indigenous communities that have the insights, and that also has to feed into thinking about climate finance, about consumer products. So indeed, when you think of a country, don't just think of the top level, but the communities all across the country that offer up opportunity, but also intelligence and insights that we can build on.
Yes, thank you so much.